Hey everybody, this is Glenda, your integrative nurse coach. Just kind of following up on my last video around managing chronic illnesses as a village. And in my last video, I kind of shared with you that my mother had an experience. She received a new diagnosis of diabetes on top of a couple of other diagnoses that she's already had, and just a challenge with helping her trying to manage that. And I realized that, she couldn't do it on her own, and I couldn't do it on my own with, being the only person to help her. So I truly believe that, it does take a village, just like it does to raise children. It does take a village to kind of help everybody stay healthy and to manage a number of these chronic illnesses that are so often diagnosed with, those individuals that we love and in our community. So today I wanted to just kind of add a little bit more to that, and thinking about, what it must be like for someone to receive the diagnosis that they have a chronic illness. And, for some, there's a little bit of anger, maybe some depression, even anxiety if they've observed other family members or other friends or folks that they know who have the condition and even have had, difficulty managing that condition. And even more so, if they know someone who's died from the condition. So our responsibility as a village should be that, we have to support them during that time. We have to recognize that there is a range of emotions. And we have to make sure that we are careful that we do not minimize what the condition is. Say for example, if Aunt Bessie had diabetes and we are accepting of the fact that Aunt Bessie has diabetes, and we forget to, talk about the fact that she was experiencing some numbness and tingling in her hands and her feet, and she had difficulty walking, and so, in a sense, we just kind of watched her suffer through it, but we embraced it as, oh, that's Aunt Bessie and she's got diabetes. So for the individual who is just diagnosed with, diabetes, that can be very frightening because their frame of reference to that condition is to those that they've observed suffering from the condition due to poor management. So that we want to make sure that we don't minimize the condition and their response to the condition. We also want to make sure that, we do observe them from a distance and notice if there is any, severe depression or they become, withdrawn. And I mean, you can expect that there will be some changes. It's kind of like imagining if you've ever been sick with something as simple as a cold or flu or, had a surgery or broken bone, the time that you think, oh man, I can't wait to get better. I can't wait to get better. When I feel better, I'm going to do A, B, and C. So for someone who has a chronic illness, sometimes they don't feel better. You'll hear them say, well, I have good days and I have bad days. Some of them feel better, whether they're managing their condition or not. So there are two important steps to it. You have to manage a condition, but you also want to help the person improve and feel a lot better. Another thing that I would suggest is, help this friend or family member engage in activities that will help improve their condition. So if you know that, Aunt Bessie has not been out for 2 weeks, she doesn't take walks, she doesn't do anything, take her out somewhere. Take her to a mall where she can get out and walk from store to store, especially if it's someone that's very sedentary. And then speaking of sedentary, a lot of us have sedentary jobs where we're sitting in front of a computer all day. Got to get up and move. If it's to stretch every hour, if it's to walk around your floor, we want to make sure that, we're being active, especially those with the chronic illnesses. So also, if you observe that this loved one or this family member is, they're just having a very difficult time, and, the acceptance is, it's taking the shape of, like a darkness or depression, and then withdrawn, and you notice all of these changes, and you think that, okay, they're having a terrible time with this, then you want to make sure that you suggest to them a support group. I know there's some people out there who don't believe in counseling, but you want to, look into counseling services if they're available. Some clergy are knowledgeable about disease and disease process and counseling. So if that's an avenue, try to get that person connected with someone that is going to be able to have a conversation with them to help them feel better about just recognizing that, it's a lifestyle change. And then, they have the support of the village to help them get through it. So, we built villages. The members of the village, I should say, we have to get on our jobs and do our part so that we do not have our friends and our families and our loved ones and our neighbors, even if we can help, go through this by themselves. And a lot of these conditions, with the chronic illnesses are manageable. So it's just about helping out that person who needs some resources and support. And so that's kind of it for today. But just, keep those things in mind as you're helping that person with the psychological piece, and, recognizing that they may know some. I think everybody kind of knows someone who's had a condition or who suffered from something and didn't do well. And so, that, can create some thoughts of anxiety about what's going to happen to me and what do I need to do. So that is it for today, and I hope that everyone had a good holiday. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, we have another one that's approaching soon. And, just enjoy yourselves and relax. Take care of that village. Start getting in touch with, folks that have some conditions, who are having problems with managing. See where you can help, where you can participate. Get the other family members in, get the other parts of the community in. And like I mentioned last week, that navigating the healthcare system is such a challenge that even sometimes, we as lay people have to follow up with physicians and practitioners on behalf of our loved ones, because it's just such a challenge to navigate. So everybody have a wonderful evening. And we will finish this topic of managing chronic illnesses as a village. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.